Well, hello there. It's Cat Lady Justin, and this is the Kitty Boss, where we pick, pamper, and protect your practically perfect pussycat for a lifetime of unconditional love. Today's a very special, jam-packed episode because it's 100% led by questions from you, Meow Mentors. So without further delay, I want to first bring in our regular co-host and guest, Dr. Rachel Gello, the world's foremost cat behaviorist and cat chaplain. So Dr. Rachel, it's great to see you again. We'll bring in our second guest very soon. So hopefully he's patiently waiting there with his cats. How are you?
I'm very well, Justin. Happy to be here.
I'm happy to have you here and to see your happy face as always. So I'm wearing my Star Trek cat shirt because I'm also a Trekkie. I love Star Trek, and Strange New Worlds is a fantastic series. I absolutely love it. Currently watching it on Paramount Plus. If you want to sponsor us, Paramount. Anyway, so this is going to be a great episode. So I think what we'll do, we'll bring in Garnet in a minute, and then we'll talk about the issue that he's brought forward. At about 7:30 or so, we have another special guest coming, and Garnet can choose to stay or leave if he wishes once we've answered his question, who has another very important and very pertinent question that's going to help a lot of people. And then we have a whole bunch that I've got here on my trusty iPhone that people commented when I solicited the questions, and they're all very good questions. They're all excellent questions, and we'll go and we'll attack them, as it were, one by one. So without further ado, Garnet, just for reference, is a good friend of mine who is living in the West Coast of the United States. Dr. Rachel lives in the East Coast, and I, of course, reside in the UK, having lived in both the East, Midwest, and West Coast of the US throughout my life. I know I don't look old enough to have done that, but I'm older than I look. So, as is Dr. Rachel Geller, because I know you're looking at her and you think she's about in her early 40s, like, and you'd be surprised. Same thing with me, by the way. And if you say otherwise, shame on you. No, I'm just kidding. So Garnet is showing us his gorgeous cat. Garnet has his own, of course, expertise in his own business, and he's quite the genius, if you will, when it comes to all things electronics and tech and even scissor sharpening. But we're not here to talk about your business, unfortunately. We could do that maybe another time. We're here to talk about your cats. So Garnet, I know one of them is called Sridevi. The other is called, it's a bit of a complicated name. They're very lovely. So if you could introduce us to your cats. Sharuk, that's right, Eric. So introduce us to your cats, and also let us know what the problem is.
So Sharuk is named after my favorite Indian actor, Shahrukh Khan. And then his sister, let's see if I can get her on. Yeah. She's named after another famous Indian actress, Sridevi. So we're feral kittens. A friend of mine, I've always had cats, and one of the cats of my last generation cat was a fascinating cat from Bulgaria, and so Monkey lived to 20, and her name Monkey was because she loved to climb everything. The big bookcase behind me, that was one of Monkey's favorite perches, right up on top.
I remember one of your previous cats.
Yes. And so I went for about a year with no cats, and then a friend of mine remarked that she heard some kittens under her porch and needed to find somebody to help adopt these feral kittens. And I said, do you have one that likes to climb? And she immediately sent me a picture of this guy, tiny little ball of cream-colored puff, hanging halfway off of her screen door, halfway up her screen door, looking back. She says, "You mean like this one?" I said, yep, he's one that I want. And she says, "Okay, but I'd like you to adopt a second kitty. She's the runt of the litter. Come here, baby. Come here, baby." Yeah. So my friend said, "I want you to adopt the runt of the litter too." And I've never felt good calling Sridevi the runt of the litter. She's very interesting, though, in her own right.
Princess, isn't she?
She is. she has a very high-pitched meow. It's basically a squeak, and which is like a lot of Indian actresses. The stereotypical Indian actress voice is a very high-pitched
the music,
voice,
you know.
yes, so it works quite well. So I adopted the two of them together and brought them home, and these two adapted to inside life very well. There were about 6 or 7 feral kittens in the litter. My friend kept 2 of them. There were about 4 out of the litter that said, "Hey, inside life's pretty cool." And then there were 2 that stayed outside with the parents and don't want anything to do with people. So brought these guys home. They bonded well. They started exploring the house. But when I have here's kind of the issue. When friends come over, including my son or other good friends, these guys bolt for the bedroom, and they will stay in there the whole time on full alert. And Sharuk will sometimes, if the guest is over for an hour or 2, he might come to the living room, but then, usually he'll end up on top of the cat tree or something like that, maybe looking at us, which was always Monkey's favorite perch, to look at visitors. I have never had what I call fraidy cats before. All my cats previously would all come out and greet the visitors. They would play with other pets that were brought by. These two want no, and Sri Devi, oh my goodness, if I go to the bedroom and try to bring her to the living room, she'll jump out of my arms in terror when I only get about halfway down the hall back there, and run back to the bed. So is there anything I can do to help these babies have more confidence around visitors?
Well, it's not an unfamiliar or straight, oh, she's champing at the bit to get at you. So I'll leave it at that. I'll forget what I'm going to say. Dr. Rachel, let's hear what you got to say first.
I'm sorry about that. That was
no, it's awesome.
So, okay. So first I want to say, don't pick up your cats and bring them somewhere, because when a cat feels like they don't have control, they lose control. It's actually terrifying for a cat, and it can make things worse. So the best thing that we want to do in general for everybody listening, whenever we want to change a behavior in a cat, we always want to set things up so the cat thinks that it's all her idea. And this looks great on my husband, by the way, too. But, okay, so here we go. It's going to be a little bit of a 2-pronged approach. I'm going to give you the bullet point version, but feel free to follow up with me after this. But I want everyone to, I think this is a common problem, that whole stranger danger thing. So the first thing we want to do is boost your cat's confidence. That's going to be number 1. And we're going to do this through something called, well, I call this interactive play therapy. And to really do interactive therapy properly, you want a fishing pole type toy or a wand type toy, because once you get going, that string essentially becomes invisible and the cat focuses on the prey at the end of that string. And what you want to do is really simulate a hunt. We want to go through a hunting sequence. So we want to trigger the cat's prey drive. And the way we're going to do that is think about how prey would really act. So prey is not going to go to the cat's face and dangle itself wildly in front of the face. Prey is not going to sit there and go do and just move, back and forth in a predictable manner. Real prey is unpredictable. Real prey is going to scurry about. Sometimes it's high, sometimes it's low. So mimic how prey would act. During the game, you want to give your cat multiple, what I call mini captures. So in real life, if the cat is hunting, say, the cat was living outside, the prey might play dead to trick the cat. During the session, the prey might lose stamina. So during the game, let the cat get the prey a little bit. The cat will notice that the prey isn't moving. He'll loosen his grip, and then you can start up the game again. So have kind of like these little interim captures during the game. So many people think that the whole point is to keep the toy away from the cat. The cat will get close and they'll yank it away. But you want the cat to get it during the game. It feels good to the cat. It boosts confidence. It releases feel-good chemicals, but it's also realistic. All right, so now we're hunting for about 5 or 10 minutes. We don't want to do these marathon hunting sessions. People say to me, I played with my cat for an hour. Well, there is no cat who would really hunt their prey outside for an hour. They either pounce and they get it or they don't. So we're going to play for about 10 minutes or so. And again, I don't want you to say, oh, it's been 10 minutes. Will you look at the time and walk away? We're going to simulate the hunt. The prey is getting injured. The prey is getting tired. The prey dies. So we're going to slowly wind it down. Let the game get slower and slower, and let the cat have one last final juicy capture. And now, the most important part, you're going to follow this immediately with food. Cats expect a catch and kill, and they expect to be able to eat what they captured. If they don't get to eat what they captured, it lowers their confidence. They're wondering, why aren't all of my great hunting techniques working? Why aren't I ever capturing, the prey? So we want to make sure that we end every single hunting session play with food, that final successful capture and food.
At least a treat.
Yes, it can be a treat. It could be a teeny tiny portion of their meal. Some cats, if they're on prescription food, it can be that. It can be any food that your cat likes, your vet approves of, that works for you, but it has to be some type of food. So now your cat feels confident. Your cat feels like king of his territory, ruler of his castle. He's feeling confident in his environment. He's feeling confident in his territory. So that's the first thing that you want to do, is we want to boost your cat's confidence.
Now, and on the subject, hold on, on the subject of play, for people who want more information or maybe visuals on how to do that, you created pretty much the ultimate, definitive, easy to understand, clear, just no frills, beautiful video about interactive play with your cats. Now, it's there is a link, but putting a link up here, it's not clickable, so it won't help anybody. So I think the best thing for us to do is for us to say that you'll either, go through in the comments and maybe leave the link in there for everybody, or they can contact you on social media or through your website or anything, and they can receive the link directly from you so that they can, oops, we got Garnet, we lost him, but now we have a new one. So now we have 2 Garnets. Let me get rid of the other one. So I think that's the best thing to do, because I highly recommend that video. I think people, if they have a few extra minutes and they want to watch it, it's just on YouTube, no special purchases necessary. Just go ahead and let Dr. Rachel know. She'll send you the link. Or and in addition, if we remember, we'll go ahead and post it in the comments on various social media platforms that this is. So this will eventually be, on Instagram, on the TikTok, on the YouTube. Well, we'll go ahead and stick it in a comment there. But the best thing for you to do, or in the description for this podcast, if you're listening on Apple, Google, Spotify, we'll have it there for you. But you can always contact Dr. Rachel, and she'll send you the link on interactive play. That's really important. So I just wanted to throw that in there.
It is a step-by-step. As Justin said, it's really understandable, and I explain everything, and I really go through it.
Yeah.
Because play isn't just fun and games when it comes to your cat. So it is really important to your cat.
Yeah, it's like walking a dog. You got to do it.
You got to do it. And it's on my website as well. So Garnet, you're going to get going on this interactive play. We're going to boost your cat's confidence. But now we're going to create positive associations using the same method. So let's say you have a particular visitor who comes over a lot, a relative, a friend. We're going to start off with a visitor who's at your home pretty often. And what you're going to do is, once you get these interactive play sessions down by yourself, the next time your friend or visitor comes over, you're going to conduct the play session with your friend in the same room, just hanging out on the couch, being a benign object in the room. After you do that a few times, then you're going to conduct the sessions with your friend or visitor standing next to you. After that's going okay, then your visitor is going to conduct the sessions in the same way I went through it, simulating that hunt, food at the end. Your visitor now will do the sessions, and you will be the one standing next to the visitor. And eventually, I want your visitor to conduct the sessions by him or herself. And what that is going to do is, so every time that cat gets, the captures and the food, he's releasing his feel-good chemicals, he's feeling really great, he's creating positive associations, and now your visitor is at the helm of all of this. So this interactive play is one of the most powerful tools and ways to create positive associations. It's great for, new relationships or a new roommate or cats who are afraid of visitors and so forth. So you will slowly get your cat used to participating in these hunting sessions with the person that your cat is afraid of.
And it's a perfect way to socialize the cat.
Yes.
And I can use the toy to lead the cat out of the bedroom because the cat sees the toy, lead him out into the other room where the concentration is on the toy rather than the visitor.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you can, and for people who are listening, if the cat is super shy, it's okay to meet the cat where the cat's at. So if you have to start off in the bedroom where the cat is hiding, that's okay. If the cat is under the bed and you have to start this process off moving the toy around the periphery of the bed, that's okay. We never want to pull a cat out from a hiding place. We would never want to drag a cat out. So my mantra is, in these matters, it's always best to go at the cat's pace.
Yeah, and that's awesome. And so I have one little thing to add to that potentially, which could help. But first, a quick shout out to our friend, the crocheting cat behaviorist. If anyone's interested in beautiful crocheted stuff for your cat and for you, little blankets and various things like that, and she's also a cat behaviorist, then I highly encourage you to connect with her and explore what kind of awesome things she has. They're really lovely. But what I wanted to add to that is, while you're going through this process or before, if, because we can't rush it, we have to go at the cat's pace. There may be times where the cat needs to calm down. So we don't want to drug the cat, but some pheromone type plugin like Fell Away works decently well sometimes, not always. There's also other herbal type plugins that are for specifically pets or for cats specifically, which are good. I don't like them because I react to them, so you got to be careful with that. But those sometimes, again, work well. And then there's some supplements as well that you can add to the cat's food or drink that are calming. So, for example, there's a British company that makes homeopathic stuff, and they make also homeopathics for pets. They're called Helios Homeopathy. And one little remedy they have is called SOS. It's like you just drop it in. It's like a Bach flower remedy style thing, but for pets, and it works wonders. And if you're in the UK, there's a company called Pets Purists. If you need more info, I'll send it to you. Just message me, and they have cat calming stuff as well. And then there's this one. There's the Two Crazy Cat Ladies, and Dr. Rachel knows them. So you're in the USA, so this is for you, Garnet, and anybody else listening who is in the USA. Because they ship in the USA, and they are the best, supplements that are all natural, safe for you, safe for the cats. You could ingest them, no worries. There's no ODing on them, and they work like miracles. So I made a link called thekittyboss.com/2crazy, because they're called Two Crazy Cat Ladies, and that's the easiest way rather than trying to spell out a giant website. It's thekittyboss.com/2crazy. And you can find him there. You can the website is really cool. Just look for the calming one. I have some downstairs. I would have brought it if I thought of it. And it'll really, before you get a chance to complete this process, it might help your cat calm down and de-stress a little bit. And as you're going through this very necessary process to socialize these two beauties, I suggest that those are just a couple other little things you can do to help. Does that sound okay?
That sounds great. I've also heard that when doing the playtime with the cats, to know how long to do the play, watch the cat's behavior. If it's pouncing, it's chasing, it's having fun, but sometimes they'll kind of roll over on their side, and you can kind of tell they're at the end of their sprint energy. And then the other thing I've heard, because I've got two cats and they respond a little differently because I do this play with them. And sometimes it's a little difficult to organize it with two cats at the same time. So I've heard one way to deal with that is it's okay to let one cat stay in the bedroom with the door closed while you concentrate on giving one cat really good play and then work with the other one.
Yes, it's fine to do it that way. And in my video, I kind of go into this because you brought up a good point about the play styles, is that I will see a lot of people say to me, oh, my cat doesn't play. But the thing is, all cats hunt. So all cats have a trigger, a prey drive and a trigger for their prey instinct. But I think oftentimes I'll see people will give up too quickly. Like they'll take out the thing, they'll move it around a little bit. The cat doesn't appear to be interested, and they say, my cat doesn't want to play, and they put the toy away. So first of all, a lot of cats do, just like us, right? We're all different with how we like to, we're all different with how we like to play, right? The things I like to do for recreation is probably different from, yours, Garnett, and yours, Justin. So,
one cat loves to take toilet paper off the toilet roll. The other has no interest.
So
and Charlotte does that ignore thing as a tactic, because that's one way they trick the prey to think, I'm not hunting you.
Exactly. Some cats like to size things up and monitor the situation and plan out the hunting sequence. Right. Some like to trick it. So give your cat a little bit of a chance to kind of get into that groove of the play, and don't assume they're not interested. But also observe your cats, like you guys are both saying, for their play styles. If your cat's always looking up, if your cat likes to jump up, they might enjoy play that involves simulation of a bird. If you have the type of cat who's always going after that ant on the floor, he may enjoy more ground hunting. So take into consideration your cat's play style. And time is important. I do see people who play with their cats like too long because they feel like the idea is to tire the cat out, but the idea is not to tire the cat out. The idea is to simulate a successful hunt. And
it's not a child, nor is it. It's kind of like overtraining at the gym. You don't want to do that, because that's counterproductive to your growth of muscles and all that kind of stuff. You want to train just enough. The minimal effective dose is what they say. And my friends who are professionals in exercise and training and all that, and it's similar with this. You want the minimum effective dose with your cats, your lazy ladies, as I call mine.
Yes.
So I think hopefully we have someone joining us soon, but I wanted to go ahead and move on to one of the other really good questions that we got today from my good friend Ruth Curry. She's from the UK, so I don't know if she's listening right now, but she'll listen afterwards. And her question was posted, so I'll read it out. It says, why does my cat always walk in front of my legs and trip me up? I can even change direction to try to avoid him, and he still continues to follow me. It's some people think the cat's trying to kill you. I mean, and trip me down the stairs and all that. And certainly I've had experiences of Emily, mostly, darting past me down the stairs, shoving me out of the way. And man, I could fall down those stairs like a moron. But thankfully she's never done that. But, cats do that. And Ruth is asking why. So Dr. Rachel.
All right. So I'm going to take that one away too. So there's two most common reasons for this. So number one, we talked about play already. So if your cats are reactive to movement, that triggers their prey drive. If your cat's only opportunity for stimulation, if your cat's only opportunity to react to some movement, to hunt and to stalk and to pounce is your legs as you're walking by, then that's what's going to happen. So it's possible that the person who wrote in is not providing her cat with these regular interactive play sessions with a fishing pole type toy that are so important for a cat's well-being. Cats are natural born hunters. Even indoor cats need these opportunities to play. So if your cat's only opportunity to see something moving, and get that fun of pouncing on those legs, then that's what the cat's going to resort to. And I will say many times people come to me and say, my cat's aggressive, my cat's destructive, my cat's biting my ankles, my cat's attacking my legs. And I find out it's because the people aren't playing with their cats. The cat needs that. If that's it, that's what's going to happen.
And this is actually a perfect segue, because Allison has just joined us. Allison is also like me from the UK. There she is. I don't know if her cat will make an appearance. It's okay either way. Yeah. Oh, awesome. Oh, yay. There she is. Aw, cutie. But Allison has a question right along the lines of what we're just talking about. So do you want to go ahead and ask what you were asking earlier on the Facebook, so that you could remind us? But it's pretty much what we just started talking about. So do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, I mean, he just attacks me when he feels like it. I have scars on my arms. And like I heard you saying that something like people don't play with them. I do. It's obsessed with cable ties. I don't do it every day. But you don't have time every day, do you? But he'll go out and catch mice and birds and bring them in as well. But yeah, he just attacks at random whenever it feels like it.
One whose cat attacked when you were petting him too?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I remembered this one because I definitely want to address that because it's common and it does take people by surprise and it really upsets so many cat owners because you think you're enjoying this moment of closeness. You think you're doing something that your cat should find pleasurable, and seemingly out of nowhere, the cat turns around and he bites or scratches you. So what I see most often is at first the cat does seem to enjoy the initial contact, but then it gets to be too much. And most cats will display warning signs. Your cat may or may not, but I'll go through it just in case your cat does. But what happens when from the cat's perspective, when the warning signs are not heeded, the cat then feels like he has no other choice but to bite because from his perspective, the warning signs are being ignored. So some of the warning signs are lashing the tail back and forth, thumping the tail on the ground. He may start glancing at your hand a little bit more. The ears may come back and down. The eyes may get a little bit wider. You may even see a little bit of skin twitching. Ears may be in a T position. I see the most common sign I see is the cat starts looking at your hand a lot. But so those are some common signs. So look for those. But let's say not all, sometimes cats are very subtle. So the best thing that to do to prevent this phenomenon, and there's actually a name for it, it's called petting induced aggression. So most cats actually are predictable in the length of time that they will allow this petting. So get a handle, pay attention, get a handle on how long the cat will let you pet him before he attacks. So for example, let's say that he typically lets you pet him for like 2 minutes before he will he'll turn around and bite you. So stay under his threshold. So if you paid attention and it takes about 2 minutes of petting before he turns around and scratches or bites you, we're going to always like only pet him for 1 minute and then stop. No matter what, whether he's enjoying it, he's purring, whatever, we're only going to pet him for 1 minute and stop. We want to stay under that threshold. We want to leave him in a contented state rather than getting to that point of overstimulation. So the longer you can go with always staying below that level of when he can't take it anymore, the better things are going to be going forward. So pay attention to that length of time and make sure you never go past that threshold. Even if he only allows petting for like 40 seconds, then stop after 10 seconds. Never get to that point where he becomes overstimulated. And once you're able to do this consistently, like you're petting him for that 30 seconds and is going okay, then you can gradually start adding time back in. But when I say gradually, I mean 30 seconds, maybe then the next day, 32 seconds, keep it at that level for a while, then maybe 35 seconds and so forth. So it's better to leave him in a contented state and wishing he had more rather than getting to that point of overstimulation where he can't take it anymore. So we may not know exactly why he's getting overstimulated, but if you can consistently stay below that threshold, that problem will resolve.
With time and patience. And I know that Allison can do that because in the just brief chat that we had on Facebook Messenger, she's a very good cat mom, because I know a lot of people who would have surrendered the cat by now, but Allison is committed to loving this cat forever. And so I know that she has the patience necessary to do this slowly but surely and turn that cat around so that it becomes the, practically perfect pussycat for a lifetime of unconditional love that we want. So Allison,
feel free to reach out to me through my website. I know Justin's going to put up all of my info. I gave you the bullet point version, but that's the basic idea. I'm sure you get the principle behind it. And
Dr. Oh, sorry.
No, I'll be with you every step of the way if you need me more.
Yeah, all I was going to say is Dr. Rachel, if you need her to do one-on-one sort of bespoke, it's drrachelcatbehavior.com. And we're not selling anything, because how much does it cost to have a session with you?
I do all of my work completely free of charge.
Right. So there's no money. There's no money involved. Leave your wallet at home, and Dr. Rachel Cat Behavior is where you can go to book a session if you need to. If you're thinking of anyone else listening or watching, if you're thinking of surrendering your cat, or you're having these kind of issues and you're not up to doing it, then go ahead and book a session with her, because her mission is to keep cats in their home at least 1,000 a year, rather than have people surrender them, and it's totally possible. So go ahead and do that if you need to.
I just want to mention too, for Allison, make sure, I know you said you're playing with your cat. Make sure you always end every session with that wind down, final capture, and food. And on the days that you don't have time, I would recommend puzzle feeders. Are you familiar with that type of a toy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that way the cat on his own can get that feeling of hunting, figuring something out, capturing, and eating when you are too busy. Because I understand, even I can't play with my cats 24/7, so I get it.
I don't either. And yeah, so and remember, she said, once you do the play, you let it capture whatever it is, and then you give it a snack, like a little food, so that it simulates eating it. It's really, really important. I actually forget to do that sometimes, and it's not good. But yeah, just remember to do that. And Dr. Rachel has that video that kind of shows, interactive play, and teaches it really simply. If you need it, she can post the link. So just go ahead and ask, and we'll send you the link for that. It's free. It's just on YouTube, but it's a really good, simple way that shows the play thingy. Garnet, you had a question or something?
I've noticed with Sharuk, the cream-colored fellow, that sometimes I'm sitting here in a chair, he'll wrap himself around my foot, digging his claws in. And I've realized that she's just asking for attention. And I found that, because, those extra puncture holes in my feet don't feel good, but I found all I got to do is reach down and give him a tummy rub, because when he's wrapping around my foot, he's totally, and that breaks the cycle, but then he's getting attention. So he's happy. Then I know, he's asking for attention. Yeah. I need to give him some extra. I was actually, at one point, he looked like he was going to pick up the game of fetch. I had a period of several days where he kind of got the point. When I'd throw a toy, he'd run after it, bat it around, and he'd bring it back to me. Monkey Cat was a fetch playing cat, and in remark to how long cats like to play, she invented that game all on her own one day. She brought me a toy. She's from Bulgaria. And in my apartment there, she brought a toy, dropped it next to me, and then started biting my elbow to get my attention. I took the toy up, threw it out of the room. She'd run after, bring it back. And she would literally do that every single day for 45 minutes at a time. And at nice. One point, she changed the game, where once she had my attention, I had the toy, she'd run outside the door and hide behind the door jamb. And I realized my job then was to try to throw it past her, because then she'd come leaping out and try to bat it back at me. Right. But literally that game was like 45 minutes every single day. Well,
that's your cat. Again, not the most common scenario, but
when I brought her back to the US, I had 3 or 4 cats in the house here. And I tried playing fetch with her here. She started to play fetch, and then she stopped to look and see what the other cats thought about it. So it was a lot funny. I wanted
to ask Allison if she had any questions to follow up, or if this sort of little plan that we proposed is pretty clear. Do you have any further questions about that?
No, that's fine.
Okay, great. So it'd be great if you let us know how it goes. You can even post in the Kitty Boss group updates, photo, video, whatever you want. You're more than welcome to do that, or more than welcome to reach out to one of us just to give us an update. But we'd be very interested to know how it goes, and hope that this works. And remember, patience. So we're not talking about something that's going to take 3 days. This is going to take a little bit of time, but it will work. It's worked with thousands of cats before. It'll work with yours. So let's just keep at it, and we'll turn him into a bundle of love. I know you're really busy with your family and everything, so if you do need to drop off, feel free. It's been lovely to see you, or you can stick around. It's completely up to you, Allison. But thank you for coming today on the show.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you, and I'm here if you need me.
All right, thank you. Bye.
Bye, Allison. So we were talking about Ruth's question when Allison came on, and that was the cat that was running past the legs and like tripping you. So that's a slightly different than, getting their claws into you. But according to Dr. Rachel, that is a similar situation where the cat is needing some more play, some more engagement, and the proper type of play. Not just, I switched on the electric thing that flicks around, but play with you, with their person, where you take the little toy, you go through the whole cycle, mimicking the prey. We're not talking about 30 minutes. We're talking about 5-10 minutes.
Yes.
And then it catches it, and then you give it a little treat. And then at that point, that's the satisfaction and the complete cycle that the cat needs to go to, the cycle of action. So that would be the big suggestion for Ruth and anyone else who has a cat that has the zoomies, but like the zoomies where it wants to trip you and you're like falling down all the time because he needs your attention.
Think about the natural cycle of a cat, which is hunt, eat, sleep. So after the cat has the food, now he's relaxed. Now he feels good. Now he's content. He's ready for a well-earned nap. So, these people who have trouble with the cats, attacking their ankles or being destructive or, going after their legs. The thing with the play is not only does it do all of the things I've already mentioned, but it leaves your cat sleepy and relaxed. So many people, they want that time that the cat calms down. And this is the main way to do that, is to tap into that cat's natural, calm, relaxed nap cycle. So that's another benefit of the play. The one other thing I was going to say about Ruth's cat, it sounds like play would be the prescription, but some cats, just like people are clingier than others. And it may be that the cat is trying to deposit her feel-good pheromones from her chin and her face onto Ruth's legs. And Justin, you mentioned before a product called Feel Away. There's also one called Comfort Zone. There are many similar products. They are synthetic pheromones that mimic your cat's own natural feel-good deposits. She could try spraying a little bit of that lightly on her pant legs to trick the cat into thinking that he's already deposited his scent on her legs or on her pants, in case that that may help. I have a feeling that she needs to add play into the cat's life, but
that's also a great suggestion. And don't worry, these products don't smell. They don't have an odor to it. So you're not spraying something on your pant leg that's going to then smell like pee. And then when you go out, everyone's going to be like, Ruth, what's going on? You smell like pee. It doesn't smell like nothing at all. We're in the UK, so I think Fellaway is easier to find than the other one. But maybe we can find that one. So thank you. That's really good on that particular sort of problem. There's our friend Ashley, who's in the USA. Our friend Ashley Nahikian. She said also a question here, and I'll read it. Would love to know some good options for food for a cat with a sensitive tummy. Throws up a lot. He also has pica. For people who don't know, that means he eats non-food items. There's even people who have that sometimes. But we like dirt or glass, or it could be anything. But we are very careful with watching him. He lives on my catio with minimal non-food items that he can eat. And so that's an interesting conundrum. My cats have sensitive tummies. I'm in the UK, and I have found that feeding them a raw food diet is what's made all the difference in their tummies. Now, in the UK, we have a company, not me, I don't have a company, but I purchased my cat food from this company called Bella and Duke. So now I can get you obviously a discount with Bella and Duke. So if you're in the UK and you want to try that, before you waste your money, let me know, and I could get you like 70% off. So that's a huge one. So just let me know, and I'll connect you with that. But it's only in the UK because it's raw frozen cat foods. It cannot ship internationally, but it's made all the difference. It's cured their dandruff, their gingivitis, and their sensitive tummies, unless, of course, I give it something like junk food that I buy thinking it's a treat. Nope, then they puke it up. But this stuff has worked like a miracle, and it's turned my 13-year-old back into a kitten. So I think that is one of the things that I suggest. Now, if you're in the USA, which Ashley is, I'm not 100% sure because I haven't tried many cat foods in the USA. If there is a really good cat food that is like this one, as far as I'm aware, there's a cat called Boss Cat brand, which is kind of similar to Kitty Boss, and I do like them, and I can probably get you a discount with them, but I don't know. I've never tried them because I'm not in the USA. Now, I know Dr. Rachel is going to suggest this, of course, because we both do every single time. Is if it's your cat, I'm assuming it's your cat, it lives on your catio, make sure you get it checked out with the vet to make sure that there's no health condition, there's no, God forbid, some kind of little cancer, or there's 100 different things. But just to make sure there's no obstruction in there already. You said it has pica, that it's safe, and you watch it, but you don't know. Maybe it got something in there, or even a plant leaf, or even a rose leaf, which is fine for cats, but it can cause obstruction if it doesn't digest and pass through. It can stick there. So we want to check that there's no physical problem or illness or anything. I think first and foremost, before we start worrying about the diet, worry about whether the cat has, an issue that could be resolved with your vet. Now, for the rest of it, let's see if Dr. Rachel or even Garnet, if you guys have anything you'd add to that. Now's the time.
Yeah, for the skin sensitivities, I will just quickly echo what Justin said. Consult with your veterinarian who knows your cat the best. I have had cats go to the emergency room for eating something that seems relatively innocuous, like a small leaf. So it's worth checking these things out. But again, sometimes a special diet can help with skin sensitivities. There are all kinds of prescription cat foods available that are really designed for different allergies and sensitivities, all kinds of different formulations. It's completely worth asking your veterinarian about something like that, to have something formulated that will meet your cat's needs and your cat's sensitivities. And this can all be figured out with your veterinarian. For eating like non-food items, if you have a cat who like chews wires or cords or that kind of thing, there's usually two main reasons for that. One,
part rabbit, right?
One of the reasons is stress and anxiety. And going back to the play, one of the best stress, tension, and anxiety relievers for cats there is, I know you can tell I'm a huge proponent of play, but many times you can solve cats who have a lot of stress and anxiety behaviors by adding play in. They're releasing that stress. I mean, how many of us, if we're stressed out, go for a walk or go for a run or go to the gym, we feel better. Same with our cats. So that's,
or even how many of us have little, stims or some anxious, nervous tics or something like that we do,
Yes.
So there you go.
It's no different than people who bite their nails, right? And all that kind of thing. Or, this is what I do. I keep looking in the refrigerator. Like I want to eat something when I'm nervous. So that hasn't changed since I was there 10 minutes ago, but I keep doing it. So, but if you have a cat who eats particular things, I work with a lot of people whose cats eat wires, cords, that type of stuff. There are all kinds of non-toxic, bitter, anti-chew products on the market for cats. And what you can do is, like, let's use wires for an example. Leave some wires out where you know your cat's going to find them, but coat them thoroughly with a bitter anti-chew product. So the next time your cat comes upon the wire and starts chewing on the wire, your cat's going to come to the decision on his own that the wire is no longer a delightful and enticing thing to chew. And if you do this long enough, you'll break that habit. No different than people who bite their nails and they put things on their fingers that taste yucky and they stop, biting their fingernails. So you can coat the objects that your cat is chewing all the time with a bitter anti-chew product. Leave it out on purpose. Don't try to hide it. Let the cat come upon these products, and that will break that habit of chewing on things that you don't want your cat to chew on, because it definitely can be dangerous. Was this the same person whose cat was over grooming as well? Or was that
no, this is not the over groomer.
Okay.
Our friend and your biggest fan, Michael Parrott, says, hi guys, always a great show. Thank you so much, Michael. We always love having you as our viewer and fan. So thank you so much for tuning in. But yeah, no, it's not the same person as the over groomer. That is someone else, I believe. I'll just double check that on the comments. Yeah, no, so that's not the over groomer. That's the Pico one.
Okay.
The over groomer is, I think, from a different episode.
Oh yeah, pulling out the hair. Okay. Yeah.
Pulling out the hair. That's from a different episode, which is actually, funny enough, something that Emily did at the beginning. Actually, it's not from a different episode. We did have it, but we have it's somebody else, which we're going to talk about now. Actually, sorry, the terminology threw me because she didn't use that term. So my friend Alex Manley, who also is in the UK, has asked a question. And it's, could she give advice, that's Dr. Rachel, on flea control? So, I think fleas are a problem at the moment, and they are becoming immune to the old trusty Frontline, which I don't use. I haven't seen any, but my cats are rather scratchy, and I am worried about them. So the cats are scratchy. So it's not over grooming like Emily used to do, but the cats have sort of, I guess, itchy skin, and she's thinking, uh-oh, is there a flea going on there? And that's a really, really good question. So my advice to start this off is, if you're in the UK and you're looking for flea control, is to first of all look at natural alternatives and remedies, because they are out there. I'm not saying go with essential oils. Some people do. I think you have to be very careful with that with cats, because they can easily overdose. But with the safe products that are available through, for example, Pets Purist, I made a suggestion and put a link in for a £5 discount on Alex's comment. They have stuff for itchy skin specifically. I know I get some, so you'd have to ask me in the UK, because I don't have it with me, but I get these little purple collars that I only put on Emily and Charlotte when they go out, but they're all natural little plasticky thing, whatever, rubbery collars that are anti-flea and tick. So those are proven very good. So my cats have never had fleas since they were kittens, because when I got them, they came with fleas, for God's sake. But anyway, so they have never, knock on wood, they've never had. So they, so I like those, but I don't remember what they're called. So if you have a question and you're in the UK, ask me, I'll go find it from downstairs. So that's another thing. It's the natural
confused, I think, because we were talking about skin sensitivities, and it sounded like, I think you said the same thing, that maybe the cat actually doesn't have fleas, but is having some type of a sensitivity.
Yeah, which is why I suggested that she has a chat with me or you, because itchy skin could be something else, like when Emily and Charlotte both had dandruff, for example. And that could be nutritional, internal. Hydration is important, but the hydration comes mainly from the food. So anyone in the UK, my default recommendation for things, of course, after there's a vet checkup to make sure that the cat is not, with disease or obstruction in the intestine or whatever, that there's no physical ailment, is, of course, the food that I champion, because the founder was a guest on this show, and I did a whole episode with him. So I got to know, and I got to know why he started the company, what their process is, how they select the food items, how they process the food, because obviously it's raw food, it's going to be processed, but not with chemicals and crap. It's just frozen. That's it. But it's human grade quality. So I'm not saying you should eat it, but you could, and it wouldn't kill you. And it's just all of these things I'm a huge fan, obviously. And so that's kind of my default recommendation, because I saw in my 2 cats, not 1, but 2, gingivitis go away, dandruff go away, behavior improved tremendously. Their coats, I think I told you this, and I told him that actually. I have a long hair cat, Charlotte, that most people know that. Now, I used to brush her every day, and she used to get knots and mats anyway. And one time it got so bad, I couldn't get it out. I had to go to the vet, because I have no groomer near me, to have it shaved, and it cost me 60 British pounds. And that was expensive, just to go zip, there she goes. And I did it because I love her. But it's like, what? And I brush her every single day. And she now has not had a mat or a knot or anything in her fur for over a year. And I always tell people, guess how many times how often I brush Charlotte, the long hair cat now. I do not brush her weekly. I brush her maybe twice, 3 times a month. So think about that. I have a long hair cat that I brush 2, 3, 4 times a month, who's never has knots or mats or anything. I changed nothing except the food. And so I'm a huge fan.
Do you suggest a periodic bath for cats?
I do not, because cats are clean. They clean themselves. If the cat gets filthy, like it's outside and it's full of mud or shit, beep, it's full of mud or feces or whatever. If it's filthy, it might need a bath. And then, of course, there are special cat and kitten shampoos that are extra mild. Do not use the Johnson's baby poison that people love to poison their human babies with. Don't use that junk. Get something all natural. Morocco Method, great company in the USA. I don't have a link for you, but it's look it up. It's called Morocco Method. They have all natural products for you. I use it as well as for your pets. So use something like that, an all natural pet shampoo if you need it. But some people, God bless them, they take the damn cat to the groomer like once a week, once a month. It gets brushed. Of course, it looks like a show cat. It's great. The brush, and then they spray it with this thing, and it comes out smelling like, cherry donuts. And I'm like, that's horrible. Because cats don't smell like cherry donuts. The cat no longer smells like itself. That might cause issues with other cats, with its own self. You've stripped all the natural oils off the fur. So for heaven's sake, it's only a rarity that a cat needs a bath. And that rarity is when it gets particularly filthy, then it can have a bath. I used to do a bath every year for my cat, like once a year, like a spring cleaning thing. I don't even do that anymore because they just don't need it. They're cleaner than you and me.
They are. And I want to really jump on your point about the products that have the scents and the smells and the artificial ingredients, because often when a cat comes back if you have a multi-cat household, often when one cat comes back from the veterinarian, people will have problems with their cats fighting with each other. And this is something called non-recognition syndrome. The cat comes back and he now smells like other cats. He might smell like other dogs. He smells like other people. He might smell like medicine. He might smell like illness and even death, depending on what was going on in the vet when he was there for his visit. So and that's something that's pretty much non-preventable. We need to bring our cats to the veterinarian, but we don't need to bathe our cats in perfumey smelling things and artificially scented items. We don't need to do that anyway, but worse, it does cause problems between companion cats. They will have that same non-recognition issue. So no, cats will clean themselves. They are fastidious creatures. You don't need to worry about bathing your cat.
Yeah. So it's not just me saying it. It's Dr. Rachel Geller saying it as well. So come on, guys.
I think a way to help the cats with that vet visit also that I do is I'll wear a t-shirt for 2 or 3 days straight. So it really smells like me, what they're used to. And then that's what I put in their cat carrier with them.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Whenever they're done, whether they've got familiar scents right to start. And it right away, you're trying to keep them with the sense of the household,
Yeah.
That may work for some people. For other people, being that ripe, as it were, might not work, especially if you have a significant other or if you live with, other humans. That might be slightly or if you need to go to work or something. But if you can get away with it, why not?
But you can.
That my babies really like when I take my shirt off at the end of the day or my pants. Is instead of putting it in the dirty clothes, as I lay it on part of the bed. Oh my goodness, that's their favorite place to sleep.
Oh yeah, they like that. Yeah,
really
they like that. I've had cats who like dirty undies.
They do like our scents, but to help between cats, to jump on what you're saying, you can before you leave for the vet appointment, rub the cat who's going to the vet with a t-shirt. Rub that cat with the t-shirt, and then when that cat comes back, rub the cat with the t-shirt again so he gets his own smells back, and that will help with the companion cat if you have cats who are sensitive to smell.
If you have multi-cat households, so it's basically what Garnet's doing, but you also do it with the other cat. I mean, I know cats who like, your dirty undies, it's like, Right. That's kind of gross, but if you like it, go for it. It's like, there you go. I mean, or my Emily and my Charlotte both seem to like feet. So Charlotte likes like my slippers or shoes. She likes to like put her head inside the shoe. And Emily actually likes feet. So anyone who's around the house gets their feet like sniffed and licked. We always joke around saying she's got like a foot fetish, because it's just funny how into feet Emily is, but it's more the smell. I think it's not actually a foot fetish. It's like she likes that smell of that human, and whether it's me or one of my regular people that come here, she likes it. So God bless her. So I think so for just to end off, for the benefit of our friend Alex, who asked that really good question about flea control. So again, the recommendations is, don't bathe the cat too often, and mine is to start with natural types of alternatives. Again, if you need, I put a link on there for Pets Purist. For the itchy skin, they have a solution for that. There's the collar. I think I got it on Amazon. So if you want me to look it up, let me know. I'll look it up, or I'll find mine and take a picture of it. And so just to end off, Dr. Rachel, do you have any suggestions on flea control?
Yeah, I mean, this is something that you should definitely discuss with your veterinarian, because if the cat has become, or if you think the cat has become immune to the product that you're using, that's something you want to discuss, because, you don't want to use something stronger if you don't need to. You don't want to keep using it if you don't need to. So I would definitely rule out the skin and food sensitivities. It's very common in cats, and and there's a reason. And I'll just make this quick because I know we're coming on time. But if you go into today's cat food aisles, at your basic pet supply store, you will see a plethora of menu items. Chicken and fish and vegetable fricassee medley, and when cats were outside in the wild, they didn't have like 1,700 different menu items to choose from and all these different combinations. So our cats eat very different today than they ate, hundreds of years ago. So we have caused, inadvertently a lot of skin and digestion and food sensitivities in cats. So definitely I would rule that out first before you kind of go down the rabbit hole of putting other products on your cat, because it could be a simple fix.
Yeah, so that's perfect. Yeah. Perfect to end the show on, because that covers all of the questions that we received. I wanted to thank our surprise guest, Garnet. Thanks for staying for the whole show. It was cool to have you and to get your little input on there. Thank you, Dr. Rachel, as always, for the wisdom that you have on cats. And we'll see you guys next time. I'm going to just say goodbye to everyone watching, and then we can catch up for a couple minutes afterwards. All right? So this was the Kitty Boss, where we pick, pamper, and protect your practically perfect pussycat for a lifetime of unconditional love. Thanks for watching the show. I hope we answered all your questions and more. It's Cat Lady Justin. We'll see you real soon.